Live. Welcome to the Renegade podcast. I'm your host, A Dashing Rogue, and I'm with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
Hold on, you've never heard of cheese before, Scaly?
My people hunt beasts rather than raise them, so products like this one are unknown to our society.
And give it here. I'll cut it for you real good.
Wolf, welcome. But yeah, that was the Pokemon theme song sung apparently by Linkin Park's AI, Doppelganger. We've come a long way.
Oh, and there's right in the suggestions, there's a Freddie Mercury version of it too.
Jeez. I want to see Freddie Mercury do Sailor Moon fucking...
What?
the actual, I think it's Deke version of Sailor Moon.
Fighting evil by moonlight, but it has to have a Freddie Mercury screech in there somewhere.
Yes, it has to have. You have to include the screech. That is mandatory, right? So let's see what else we got here. So today we got a little bit of a slow week. I've been working, honestly. I have not been listening to any podcasts or anything like that. I've been busting my ass, and I was lucky enough. The cops pulled me over, apparently. They said that I had a busted taillight. And they let me go, thank God. So I wasn't able to hang out with Luke today. And, that's usually one of the things I do enjoy is, between going to church and going to see Luke, I need to get my taillight fixed. So I basically struggled all over the place today to go get the equipment that I needed to make the repair. So now that that's done, and I have about $50 left over, so I paid off some of my debt that I owe to the fucking credit card companies.
A lot of people are having car troubles around here because my car was having trouble starting yesterday too.
Well, it seems to me it's the time of the year, isn't it?
Well, this is what I get for not changing my spark plug sooner.
Shit. Well, I probably am a due for that as well, honestly. But until I figure out what the fuck's going on, I have to keep running that machine. And the real fucking problem here is my fucking mileage is going up. Woo, it's going up.
Welcome to the club.
Shit. Ugh. It's very hard. It's hard for many reasons, but I'm making profits. I'm making a little bit of money here and there. I prefer Uber Eats over DoorDash. DoorDash is like the Band-Aid brand of fucking car Meals on Wheels, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
They kind of are. Even if we say Uber Eats, we mean DoorDash. They have that type of recognition. But I'm very close to getting gold on Uber Eats. Gold Uber Eats Premium,
yes,
whatever the fuck it is. And that means I could probably go after, if I maintain that and I have 2,000 or more deliveries, I could get ESU scholarship or tuition paid for. And it's basically a scholarship.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for, But at the same time, my other job that I did an interview for, they liked me a lot. They really, really like me.
All right. Nice.
Yes. Yeah. So, that's just giving you an update of what's going on. And again, some of the stuff that I see is the extreme shit, right? And the shit that catches my eye. So there's a sort of more of a psychological dive into where I'm at and psychologically this week. So one of the things that I'm probably at, and just goes for me being a guy, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, X. That's what we're dealing with. Aaron Clary, who's a preacher's kid, by the way. He's a preacher's kid. He's self-admitted preacher's kid. He's figuring out, and a lot of people are realizing that these Christian harlots, and they are harlots, a lot of them are, they're using Christianity as a way to fucking shelter themselves from the dirty deeds done with sheep. Okay? And I know there are probably a bunch of furries out there who probably mistake what I'm saying, but dirty deeds done dirt sheep and with sheep. Here you go, Luke.
Well, we got a short one here. And just as we had a real-life marriage, we do exposés or cases on that. You send in your story about your marriage and your inevitable divorce. And we read through that to explain and show to young men, this is what happens when you get married. We, I think the community here, but especially me in particular, I have a particular sympathy for Christian men in the West because, man, there are no Christian girls in your churches, none whatsoever.
They're none.
And having dated
None
my fair share of Christian gals, and they have not gotten better. You guys are particularly exposed to being taken advantage of in this, unfortunately, gender war, sex war, whatever, war of the sexes that we have.
Yeah, they're a bunch of Jezebels.
Because your
There are a
community,
bunch of
because your religion
Jezebels.
is like, oh, you gotta breed more little Christians, breed more, breed more. And then you're saying, yeah, show me some godly women here. Whoa, hang on now. That sounds like the old school Bible. This is the new Bible.
Yeah, I think that's a problem in liberal churches, though.
Here's the thing: it is and it isn't. It's popular in mega churches, I bet. It's
Yeah,
popular.
and what do you think their theology is? Conservative.
I think their fucking theology is cosmopolitan. That's what I think it is.
Very
so,
progressive.
Yeah, but here's the problem. It would be awesome if it was cosmopolitan, because that's sort of what the world has become to a certain degree. But if they maintain their Christian stance and say, you know what, this person's a harlot, but you know what, I'm not going to recommend her to anybody at the church. She's going to be a fucking nun. She's going to the nunnery. She's not fucking getting with the general population. You know, and I just love fucking Aaron Clary. He gets the archetype of the guy who enables the degeneracy in the fucking church. He gets it. Keep playing it, Luke. You've heard this guy.
We just throw away and we just say, hey, we need more Christian babies. Well, God forgave her for being a single mom to 7 different children from 8 different fathers. Why can't you? Nice bank account you got there. And yeah, you guys are fighting with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah.
So the big temptation, especially as young people make horrible mistakes.
Well, the big temptation is to acknowledge the world as it is and realize that no one's coming to save us except Christ. And that's at the end of the days, and I don't think it's the end of the days, no matter how much people want to, no matter how much Jake Tran wants to call it the end of days.
It's not the end of days. He didn't say that.
It's a fucking cycle. We're gonna have a big, cycle of, oh my God, it's gonna be like World War III, dude. Nothing is over until we say it is. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves. And we don't.
That's not his point, though.
What's his point?
His point is prepare for a downturn so you can profit off of it.
Yeah, but how do we prepare? Like, the best thing you could do, we'll profit off of it. Let's look at that. Like, how many, I think it was, what the hell is his name? Owen Benjamin, right? How he basically bashes Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro, but besides bashing Ben Shapiro for being Ben Shapiro, he bashes him for fucking selling gold banknotes, right? Or gold
everyone on the internet does. I mean, even the bread tubers and leftists show gold.
Yeah, and a lot of the people who push that shit, they're the ones who you have to watch out for. Because if you're actually going to invest in stuff, like when I got my stimulus check, I bought a new computer. And I bought it specifically because I knew that I needed one and I was going to need it for my job, right? You have to buy stuff that actually works. Like, if I get another stimulus check, let's hope to God it doesn't happen, because Lord knows I don't think our little fucking bank accounts can accept that thin of fucking liquidity when it comes to freaking money, Let's say it does. Course, I'm buying myself another car.
Yeah, but of course gold is usually just a hedge against inflation. It's not really an investment per se.
No, it's not. And the thing is, people like us want to have the ability to invest ahead of time and get ahead, Mm-hmm. But the problem here is that, if you follow the narrative of the cycles of it's no different than was it the markets of the bull market versus the bear market. It's the animal spirits. It literally is the animal spirits that is driving
that's Keynesian hogwash. What you should be doing is buying low and selling high.
Yeah, but if no one has any money because you keep deflating the currency, and you make it so everything goes up in value, those who actually have a large cash stack, like the mafia, let's say like $10,000 or so, they're good ahead. But everyone else who can't sell their labor because labor has been devalued, because even skilled labor has been devalued, right?
Buy low, sell high. That's the point.
Yeah, but the problem here is why sell at all? If the only people who are selling are those who have, and who are getting rid of. It's not like there's a generational transfer of wealth going on. If anything, it's stratification that's happening. Stratification is what's going on. Solidifying, certain families to get ahead and certain families not to get ahead. And I'm not talking about, banking families or some stupid shit like that. I'm talking like legitimately people who've already bought in and already have 3 or 4 kids. They're going to be fine. The ones who are just trying to get onto the housing market, they're being screwed. That's just me. That's just me, though. And again, I'm not you and you're not me, but I just find it. I find it very interesting that we need to have this conversation about the Christian dating girls or what have you, because again, there's so much enabling of this stuff. They're so fucking. I want to say effeminate, but they've been effeminized by the church. There is that. There is that. I've seen that more often than not, to the point where I don't even like going to church anymore because of it. It's we need to have a God that has it's a Christian God that is a man. None of this womanly shit. It was in that movie. What the hell was it called? The Fireproof, right? Where the marriage is fine, everything is economically stable. She gets to stick up her ass, and now we have to do everything for her. No, like when are we going to start acknowledging men's problems in the church? Everything is like it has been taken over by Jezebel. It really has been taken over. The church, that is. No, that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Thoughts, Luke?
It's like we're repeating ourselves. Like the real life is catching up with the internet conversations that we've had with the whole red pill stuff.
Yep. And so if I can't get my rocks off on a chick, I can't get my rocks off on the range. Epic ammunition shortage coming. Stock up, Luke. Stock up, because I'll tell you this: the ammunition retains its value.
Well, unless you use it, of course.
No, I mean, like, legitimately, it will retain its value. You want to talk about hedging against inflation? Don't go with gold. Use silver as like your currency, and then use lead as like your storage of like stocks or what have you. You want to, like, what was it, not Francis Fukuyama? Who the fuck is his name? Rich Dad, Gold Dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Robert Kiyosaki. He fucking talks about the metals of the Bible, right? The metals of the Bible are like lead, iron, silver, gold, bronze, right? And what are they for? Well, iron is weaponry. Fucking ammo is, lead, and gold and silver, and bronze for fucking craftsmanship. What was it like? Cold iron is the master of them all, or some shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. I don't know. So besides that, here you go, Luke. Ammunition shortage.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So I hate bringing you guys bad news like this, but it's being reported that on top of ammunition prices going up in January of 2024, it looks like we might be facing a major shortage, and we're talking about a global shortage, and this is all following a UN meeting. So let's go ahead and talk about what we can expect and what's going on here. Hey, real quick before we get started, I've got some of the best subscribers on the internet, hands down, some of the most supportive people that you will ever find. So if you are not a subscriber, make sure you join the community by hitting that subscribe button, that little bell notification to let you know when new videos come out.
Skip
and
ahead a bit.
is always appreciated. And jump down below. Price increase is going to look like this. Now, several companies are saying that this is the price increase that you can expect to see in January. So shot shell 1 to 7%, rifle 1 to 7%, handgun 1 to 5%, 22 LR and shorts 1 to 5%, WMR, HMR 1 to 7%, primers 5%, and Alliant powder 10% and limited availability. Now here's a statement from Vista Outdoors, which is the parent company to a lot of these smaller companies that offer these products. It says, due to world events, our suppliers have notified us of unprecedented demand for and an anticipated global shortage.
We're in the warring 2020s, aren't we, Luke?
Mm-hmm.
My advice to everyone, if you can afford it, go top off your ammunition stack. And, if you don't have a rifle, buy one. Because that in itself will retain value, Everything else, you're gonna want to upgrade your equipment and get your gear. Keep playing it, Luke.
And thus has increased our prices substantially. We must therefore raise our pricing to help offset those increases. And this is the Vice President of Sales, Brett Nelson. Now, there's several factors that are contributing to the upcoming price increase and the forecasted shortage that we can see thereafter. Now, one of these
inflation
factors kind of ties with both. The first one is the fact that there seems to be a global shortage on powder. And obviously, if you have less powder, you can fill less cartridges. You have a massive high demand, but you have very little supply. So that is going to have a big effect on price, but it's also going to have a big effect on availability. So starting next year, things could get pretty ugly. Now, on top of that, Vista has promised to donate 1 million rounds to be sent overseas. So that is a big order that they're going to be ramping up on and diverting.
Fucking NATO,
overseas.
mate.
On top of that, we have an unprecedented amount of contracts. These are brand new contracts from NATO that equal $2.58 billion in ammunition and supplies, again, that are not intended for shelves. They're intended for things that are happening,
I would be fine with this, but there is one thing that I really, really want NATO to do. I want them to be able to sell us actual machine guns. Like I'm not kidding. I would gladly give them, powders and all that stuff to fulfill their needs. But I want to get access to an MP5. I want to be able to get access to a P90, an actual like full auto type of shit. I wouldn't mind having that. And I guarantee you, there's better equipment out there. I mean, the MP7 is basically the P90 that succeeded, right? And whatnot. But, again, I really do think we can give it to them. I just wish we had the ability to get a bunch of, cheap fucking, crap from the old world over here in exchange, That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot in that regard. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to start seeing a lot of freaking ammunition shortages coming up here soon.
Great.
Yep. And so even if you're going to go shooting, you're not going to go shooting anytime soon. You're going to want to hold on to every bullet you have. And so, who knows what's going to happen with that. But then, of course, we have, let's see if I have it here still. Jesus, not a lot of people showing up today. I don't know why.
Oh, really? Where is everybody?
I don't know. Go. And here we go. Now going over to V Monroe's channel, I've noticed. I'm glad I got out. Because here's the thing. Here's what they have in California when it comes to entering a Target. The place where they have like the goat of Mendez fucking symbolism and all the other crap for tranny shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This is what you have to do to go into Target. Look at this.
There's a lot of videos like this on the internet where women are posting their supermarkets on TikTok. And the reason that it's important to mention that they're women is because I genuinely believe this is the target audience of supermarkets. I don't know how it's like in Californnyna, but here in Romania you see this site quite often where you have a family and the woman is just pointing at the shelves what to buy and the man is just carrying the grocery bag or the cart and he's just putting it in, right? So
chirp, chirp, chirp. Indeed.
When you have that
and absolutely indeed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I got shadow banned because I gained some subscribers here and there, but I don't know what the hell's going on. I will say this though, if you skip ahead a bit, Luke.
So as you can see right at the beginning,
Target is still on business, y'all. First, you gotta be 18 or older to enter the store unless you're an adult. And
what?
This is what I'm talking about right here. Thank you, V. We don't need that anymore. Apparently, you need to be 18 years or older to go into fucking Target because, they just can't trust those ruffian kids anymore, right?
What? Wait.
How is this not like authoritarianism? How is this not like...
It's not even the authoritarian implications. Like, why do you have to be 16 or 18? Why do you have to be 18?
Because I assume because at the end of the day, if you're they want to be able to prosecute you or shoot you. Because, like, here's the thing. Like, V goes on to talk about how if he was Don Corleone, he couldn't think of a better way to basically to basically drive business out of California. I mean, Target's already closed down a bunch of its fucking stores. Right? Here you go, Luke. Here's another one for you. Like, this is what Target looks like now.
We're seeing it more and more. Items at our favorite store locked away in plexiglass cases. Retailers say it's becoming necessary because people keep stealing. But a sheriff in Northern California says retailers should also get some of the blame. Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper posted this long statement on social media.
Pause it. Let's read that.
I can't make this stuff up. Recently, we tried to help target our property crime detectives and sergeants were contracted numerous times by Target to help them with shoplifters, mostly who were transients. We coordinated with them and set up an operation with detectives and our North POP team. At the briefing, we were told by their head of of regional security that we could not contact suspects. We cannot contact suspects inside the store. We could not handcuff suspects in the store. And if we arrested somebody, they want us to process them outside, behind the store, in the rain. We were told they didn't want to create a scene inside the store and have people film it and put it on social media. They don't want negative press. Unbelievable. Our deputies watch a lady on camera bring her in own shopping bags, go down the body wash aisle and grab a bunch of native body washes. Then she went to the customer service and returned them. Target choose to do nothing and simply let it happen. Yet somehow locking up deodorant and rinsing prices on every item we need to survive is our best answer. We don't tell big retail how to do their jobs. They shouldn't tell us how to do ours.
You know,
there is a no-win scenario in California.
Press X to doubt, maybe? Like part of me thinks the cops want to do it, but at the same time, like, this sounds like something Target would have done.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds exactly like something that the shitlib fucking company would have came up with and said, you know what? We want you to, like, arrest them, but we want you to arrest them over there, not in the rain. You know? Like, we wanted to make, we don't want I'm thinking to myself, this is ridiculous. This is stupid. As somebody who goes to Target, or who used to go to Target, I guess, because I can't afford to go to it anymore. That's too far away, by the way. I'll tell you, I would love to see some of these people just get slammed into a fucking, you know, an Orange Julius or the fuck it might be that they have at Target, and then, you know, actually hold them accountable, some of these criminals accountable. I want to see that shit. You know, because the biggest problem here, and if what Jim Cooper is saying is true, then yeah, this shit is being brought on by the corporations, which is the question. Why are the corporations pushing for this? What are they really pushing for? Are they pushing for, you know, everything work from remote, work from home, work remotely? Because that's what a lot of people are saying, that the whole reason they're letting this type of shit happen is so that people can work or order for online and whatnot, and basically destroy all, regional business in the area, which is not going to happen because guess who's going to fucking take over? The people at the freaking liquor store. You know, the people at the liquor store and 7-Eleven, which, by the way, 7-Eleven isn't getting raided nearly as often. It's not, because there's nothing there. You know, they have nothing of value except a couple cigarettes, maybe some Swisher Sweets, and maybe a freaking beer or two. But there's generally nothing there. So keep playing it.
With Target's head of regional security. Cooper says Target won't let officers make contact with suspects, make arrests, or put people in handcuffs while they're inside the store. The sheriff says Target representatives were concerned about video of the arrest showing up on social media.
Like this? We're just walking out with the stuff?
They're just walking out. They're literally just walking out of the stores, and, you know, this to me says more horrible things than, you know, oh my God, we slammed some guy down in the electronics section because he was trying to rob you. I want to see the guy get arrested. I want to see people, you know, legitimately get punished. But
we don't know what's going to happen though, because I mean, just look at the particular demographics of the people robbing the store.
Don't care. Call us racist all you want. We don't care.
No, you don't. This is California. They will rip the cops to pieces if they don't do what they want, and they're welcome to it.
well, here's the problem with that, dude. Here's the issue with that. The regional managers need to be fired, right? Because they're saying that the regional managers don't want them to be fucking, you know, arrested within the stores. So this is legitimately the corporation doing this shit. So my advice to you fuckers out there in California, the regional manager is literally a traitor and a turncoat to the corporation. All right? Make of that what you will, but he is literally a turncoat. Like, you want to talk about, you know, the mafia and, like, Don Corleone. This type of shit, I guarantee you, like, you could have had a criminal element within regional management. Like actually, you know, an actual instance of, like, upper management being, you know, nefarious towards the consumer. Because that's what they're doing. They need to be fired. These people need to be fired. Wolfram Pepper says, since nothing is going on, want me to drop on? Sure, you can drop on if you want, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I can do it right now. to drop on right now because I have a few other things I want to talk about. But keep going. Actually, I'll have you on with the whole Hunter Avalon thing. You don't know about that, do you? We're gonna play that in a bit here. Keep playing it, Luke.
Reached out to Target about the sheriff's comments, but we haven't heard back. Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking.
Oh, that's it, folks.
Yeah, that's basically what we're dealing with. California is basically a fucking failed state. And it's all because of a bunch of fucking Democrats. The Democrats are the ones who did. These racist motherfuckers who will let them destroy their own country, who will let them destroy everything. You know?
Well, yeah, well, the capitalist country has it coming. That's what they'll say.
Oh, we're capitalists. We can't be prosperous. God forbid we, it's sickening.
No,
really
no. You don't understand. Capitalism, as in Marxists described, as an exploitation of the labor theory of value.
So basically having labor.
No, stealing value out of labor. That's Marxist theory about how value exists and all that jazz.
Yeah, so because somebody declares it to have value, therefore you stole it.
And the
Basically.
work is the only labor is the only reason why commodities exist, and therefore all profits must go to the laborer. Some stupid thing like that. Oh, what's this? Hunter Avalon graphic warning. What is this?
This is what happens. This is what has happened. So apparently Hunter Avalon cucked a gal, and this gal was apparently, what I could gather. Let's see if I can find it here. From what she says, you're breathing and I love you. Twitch partner, LGBT rainbow flag. Pan, your biggest fan. Oh woo. She/her. This is what Hunter Avalon new girl, but apparently. This girl was in like a poly relationship, right? A lot of those have been happening around here nowadays. And, this is what happened.
Holly's ex-boyfriend Conrad showed up at my apartment building with a shotgun. He shot through my building door, injuring Holly's leg in the process. I record the final moments in which they were hiding in the back porch. Oh, we were hiding in the back porch. You can hear him shoot at the police before ultimately taking his own life. In my own effing apartment hallway, still trying to process this. Holly and I are physically okay, but mentally this is gonna do serious damage. Holly has been amazing and is incredibly brave and strong through this ordeal. So this is his new girlfriend?
This is his new girlfriend that apparently her ex-girlfriend, her ex-boyfriend, I guess, or her ex-boyfriend, he's doing some creepy ass shit going on right now. So for example, here you go, Luke. I sent you this.
Are you recording? Conrad has shot Holly in the leg. Excuse me? We don't know.
Traffic warning, by the way.
Call from my landlord that said he was trying to get into the building. The suspect.
Yikes.
The suspect was trying to get into the building, and then there was something shady about it. We didn't know.
Yeah, he had a gun under his coat.
And he had a gun under his coat when he came out, and then when we walked up, he's at the door. He's at the door.
Please come in.
Please hurry, please. Okay, he's pounding really hard at the door. I hear shouting.
Wait, Hunter, why don't you have a knife?
Why would he have a knife?
I think I hear them.
Because it's his house. And the guy's trying to bust in with a shotgun. Don't you have a knife?
He's a libid now. Why would he have any weapons?
Well, you have a butcher's knife. And it's not...
Like he knows how to use a knife. Like he would be able to use a knife.
Use your imagination, goddammit. Use your fucking imagination, because here's the thing here's the thing.
Well, I mean, Hunter Avalon has not known for having an imagination. I mean, he's a grifter who grifted from being a right-wing grifter to being a left-wing grifter.
Yeah. No, I understand that. And what I'm telling you is that this doesn't look good for anybody. And the thing about this whole scenario is that I only know about this because a few people I follow posted about this. I don't follow Hunter Avalon or this other chick. But the thing that pisses me off about this is that this is not the place to post this type of crap. It really isn't. And the reason why is because we're only seeing one side of this, and Hunter Avalon looks like a fucking cuck this whole goddamn time. He looks like a cuck.
He is being shot at.
Yeah,
it's not like he's in a porno or something.
No, but like, here's the thing about that. Like, here's him and his chick, right? The supposed chick that Hunter Avalone. Because I keep thinking Avalone. I keep thinking abalone, right? Abalone, good old abalone, the fucking like the meat of the sea. Here you go, Luke. This is the chick that he was supposedly dating, and this is what, like, this is why you don't date pansexual chicks, okay? Because there's always that one guy who will go the extra step. So apparently she says
matter, Pan, your biggest fan, she, her for business.
Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
Rainbow flag.
Every single one of these is a fucking red flag. So, again, you put this out there. I'm sorry that this happened to you, but now you have to ask yourself, what type of person are you dealing with that would date this other? Because this is her evil ex, right? Quite literally an evil ex in this regard. This is what he posted. Here you go, Luke. Abuse always escalates once you leave. I found out that Conrad, because I keep thinking Conrad from Joseph Campbell's Heart of Darkness, right? Or Colonel Conrad from fucking from Dubai. I just found out that Conrad put air tags in my stuff to track my location. This is not okay. Feeling violated. And by the way, for those of you who discover air tags that are not yours in your place, you're being tracked. Go onto the public transit and let them loose in the public transit. That's what you do. You let that shit loose in public transit.
What are air tags for?
So air tags, for those of you who don't know, are designed for luggage tracking. Let's say, for instance, that like I decide to move my my suitcase and I put an air tag in it, and let's say that I lose it because I'm traveling, and because it's lost, it's registered with me. I'm able to know that it actually got shipped over to Atlanta, Georgia, or what have you. So this guy put this essentially a tracking device into the ex's person's bag. And she fucking moved it and moved into Hunter Avalon's place. So now the bastard knows where Hunter Avalon lives.
Correction, did know where he was. Apparently he's not alive anymore.
Apparently he's a dead man. So this is another one we posted here. Here you go. And by the way, I'll just say it right now. I have a right to talk about this. I think you're an idiot for posting this shit, because this type of shit that's being posted right now may not be the end of the other side of the story. There may be an entirely different angle here. She could just be a whore who led a guy on and manipulated him. Now, again, that may be lawful but awful, but it's still awful, Here you go. Second person to shame me for speaking out. One of them, it was a mutual friend too. I'm no longer protecting his image by staying silent. In fact, which, by the way, good on you for not staying silent. Bad on you for putting it in the wrong place. Go to the fucking police. I don't want to hear any of this shit online. I'm not kidding about this. This is where everything falls apart. For staying silent, in fact, taking back control over the narrative is empowering. Because again, when someone threatens you with a shotgun, apparently you got to worry about taking over the narrative and being empowered. And I want all victims to be inspired by my voice. So he says, you literally published just 2 weeks ago that you had broken up with your partner who had been with you for years, accusing him of being an abuser, and now you are with another guy. Why don't you just assume that you wanted to fuck another guy, and that's why you broke up with him, with this precious one, with the previous one? Or just don't make your life public, so no one will know that you are a bitch who is very sick in the head. I'm sorry for that new guy. Yeah. And I'm of the same opinion. Keep this shit off the internet. No one wants to everyone wants your ass. Just don't let people know that your ass has been taken. If that makes any sense. And then, to add insult to injury, apparently she got shot and peppered with fucking birdshot. She got hit with birdshot.
Was this before or after?
This is after everything.
Oh, great.
Yeah. But she started her own GoFundMe.
Ah, yes.
She has her own GoFundMe for $20,000 dues. And I'm thinking to myself, is the body even been cold yet? And you're automatically going to go for the money? This is fucking sick. It truly is sick what they're doing here. Go see if I can find the actual text of it. because they had a text of her boyfriend texting her one final time. See if I can find it on Hunter Avalon's place. See if I can find it here, because Hunter Avalon, like keep playing it, Luke. Keep playing that clip.
See the shooting.
Yep, the shooting. Don't call it a shooting. Call it a found footage drama, because that's what it is.
Well, that takes care of that.
Yep. He's a dead man, and yeah. So here's one for you. Here's from, and again, I have to ask yourself the question. This is from Hunter Avalon, his account, right? So I don't know where the fuck this shit is. Now, apparently his name's Conrad. What you have to ask yourself the question, why is she dating people like this?
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, fucking guy looks like he's a fucking Marine.
Oh, boy.
Hoorah. Please surrender. I'm losing a lot of blood. I never meant for that. No, god damn it, leave him, please. Only if you surrender, I will. Just live your life for yourself. I should have killed the coward. And then, of course, there's a bunch of text and shit here.
Wait, what? I should have killed the coward?
He was going to kill Hunter. Hunter Avalon was going to be hunted. The hunter has become the hunted. Yeah.
Oh,
this is why we don't get involved in polyamorous.
Yeah, he should have stayed a right-wing grifter, because this is not helping Hunter at all. His quality of life has greatly decreased as a result.
Here we go. So here's what he says. Here's another one for you. Because again, he posted this, and I'm wondering, how does he have this information? How did the guy get the data? He says, Holly is visiting me with, and her insane ex-boyfriend not only put air tags on her luggage, he didn't even hide the fact he intended to track my location. He says, you are crazy. That's what Hunter Avalon says. Like, this is a violation. Tell him I see him soon. I'm filing a police report. For what? An air tag to see where you would be so I can see where this dumb fuck lives? Yeah, this was like legitimately, this was an escalation that honestly should never have taken place.
Tell him I'll see him soon. I'm filing. Jeez, dude. Like what? What happened? Did she like steal something from him?
I think Hunter Avalon went full on liberal and tried to fuck his way and tried to get past the alpha males and basically fuck a whore essentially. I think that she is. So I think that there are two sides of this. I really do think there are multiple sides. And especially since I see this shit right here. Here we go. Again, keep in mind, who's posting this stuff? The body isn't even fucking cold. Here you go.
It hurts.
Looks like Styx's girl.
I almost feel like it's worse to be alive because then I have to live knowing what happened. Live seeing him like that. My soul feels like it was ripped in half.
Take that shit off the internet.
Well, this is what the internet is for idiots to spill their hearts out and all of a sudden be surprised that trolls are going to tear into pieces.
It's not, like, here's the thing, I'm not a troll in this regard. I'm just a guy who knows better. And I know that there's, like I said, there's nothing to be gained here. You have everything to lose. And if in the best case scenario, you come out even. There's literally no reason for this shit to be on there. I mean, the police are going to be fucking having a field day. I mean, I'm going to be the guy who says, well, why did you date somebody like this to begin with? What role do you have? Are you really just that sheltered and you don't know any better? Leave this chick, Hunter. Leave this chick. Like run for the fucking hills.
I'm willing to say yes. Yeah, he is that shelter. He thinks he's like a typical, like a perfect liberal. He's completely oblivious to the dangers of reality.
I'm talking about her and him.
Which I can't tell which one is which now. They're perfect for each other. Oh boy.
Oh shit.
And that was awful. That was awful.
No, well, let's just say they look great in a grave together. Let's say.
I'm not saying that. You could say that.
I'll say that. I'll say that. I'll be the Undertaker. Let's keep going.
I see him laying there. That was the last time saw him. Because he wasn't all bad. He was good sometimes. He was good to the dogs. I keep expecting to get a text or a call because I can't believe that he's gone. I can't believe that he's actually gone.
And
I don't like it that people can just go from just existing to not existing. That freaks me out.
It's just dawned on her how death works.
this is kind of like no, real talk. Like this, between the fucking Kung Pao into the fist, never ever, like the whole fucking Kung Pao thing. Like, this woman must be so fucking sheltered. Like, people talk about like how SJWs have PTSD and shit. Have you ever considered that the SJWs are just so fucking sheltered from the natural order of things? Like, you know, run around, scrape your knees, get dirty, you know, break your leg and shit like that, right? Shit that kids actually go through in life that builds character. You wonder why they're NPCs. Well, the NPCs haven't built character. That they literally don't have character. That's why they're NPCs. But again, like, you really think, like, didn't she have like a turtle or something that died, or some sort of fucking, you know, cat that might have died or passed you? I mean, you think that she would have learned about death way ahead of time.
This blog that I wrote about grief in February is a reminder that I knew I would react this way and to trauma in the future. It's an example of how much stronger I am now, and it's something for Holly TV, and apparently it's a pet frog? Grieving and self-blame. Hi, you beautiful gamers. This is the start of my new blog and coping mechanism, finding good in the bad. In this blog, I want to document my journey as I am doing a lot of introspection. There is a lesson to be learned in everything, no matter how small, and this is the freaking good that I have found in the bad. Grieving the loss of Salem has already taught me a lot about myself, and I would like to use my emotions and feeding the introspection I am doing to inspire anyone else who harbors self-blame or grief in the same way. Let's make sense of this together. And yeah, Salem apparently is this turtle, newt, or what is that?
It's not a cat, is it?
No. It's a.
Better not
is
be
it
a
a frog?
cat.
Wait, let me put it on the screen here. Like, is that a newt or?
It's a frog. That's a froggy fucker right there. That's a froggy fucker.
Salamander, maybe, or.
Noticing these patterns myself, I notice. Okay, here we go. This endless cycle, the endless cycle of what ifs has had me searching for hours about salamander sickness and worms. I feeding her, and basically anything that I can justify to keep my mind at that fault. This woman's a borderline, dude. Like, this is what happens when someone goes through borderline psychosis, and again, like. Here you go. Read
this is an impressive
right
blog. Let's see. Let's treat self-blame. Number 1. What's the first? Number 1. Don't say things to yourself that you wouldn't say to someone else you love. Number 2. Realizing that every argument or confrontation involves more people than just yourself. 3. Seeing your full beauty. Number 4. Be as patient with yourself as you are with others. Number 5, focus on the person you want to be. Number 6, do more self-reflection. Number 7, surround yourself with people who want to see you succeed. So, I mean, at this point, just good grief advice, I guess.
You know, between
number 8, start setting boundaries. What's this? Setting boundaries is one of the hardest things I've ever done. People who don't respect you will make you feel bad for setting boundaries. This is because they want to be able to control you. Stay firm. No matter how hard it is, even if it is family, they will have to adjust to your boundaries or they will weed themselves out. Good freaking riddance. Boundaries on what?
Again, she's a borderline. She doesn't have any boundaries. Like, they don't have Again, I really do believe it's shelteredness. I really do believe that PTSD, like the claims of PTSD from the SJWs, are legitimate. We just think that these people are super fucking sheltered, right? Keep playing around, Luke.
And from the shower, number 9, self-care. From taking a shower to finally getting your laundry done, self-care comes in many forms. Number 10, self-commission. The haircut and opposite of self-blame. Do the opposite of what your self-blame thoughts would do. And that's her advice.
Right.
He was texting me right before it happened.
Right before you hunted down your new boyfriend, right?
Yeah, before I hunted him down.
With no regard of you being in the same proximity as him.
You should have just waited till he came outside, and then you could have shot him. I mean, again, when you put the shit out there, I have the right to start critiquing the boy's tactics, because he got shot by the police, okay? You went loud and proud, and now you're dead. So this is there's a reason why criminals, the ones that are successful, use 22 LR and suppressors. Just saying. Keep going. She looks like Greta Thunberg.
Huh, she does.
Soy genetics.
Doesn't feel real.
Yeah, you're probably having yourself a borderline psychotic break. Don't smile. Stop smiling. Come on. We can see the crocodile tears.
I don't know if that's a smile as much as it is just trying to stretch her face out to crunch down the pain.
Oh, dude, you never know with these people anymore, dude. But again, to Hunter Avalon, my heart goes out to you. Again, same thing with this chick. Go learn how to learn how to use guns. Go say, I used to be a liberal and then I became a conservative. I did some soul searching. Please, T-Rex arms, will you train me so I can be a man and I don't, literally hang out a balcony of the fucking place that he's in. Like his apartment had a balcony. Can you imagine what would happen if the guy had actually shot the guy, busted down the door? He could have gotten in. He was incompetent. And that's the reason he didn't get in. Because he could have just shot that off the locks. It's a shotgun. That's what's for. It's literally the only reason they carry a shotgun in the Marines or the fucking armed forces, for that matter, is simply because they do it for door kicking, right? He could have made that bastard jump off the balcony, and Hunter would have fucking done it. He would have said jump off the balcony. He would have done it. But thank God for stupidity and incompetence. But then you have to ask yourself again. What type of person is this? What type of person is dating this type of person, right? Like there is another side to this that we're not looking at. Yeah, the guy who shot up the place is a fucking asshole and a criminal and deserves the bullet too. But at some point we have to ask ourselves, what is your role in this? What did you do? Where did you meet this guy? That's the real question, right? Where did you meet this guy? That's all I gotta say on that matter. Dashing is a simple man. He sees a woman and calls her. Yes, there are way too many of them out there, to the point where I could very well say that they're just way too many people. There are way too many of them that are just messed up in the head. Hate to be the guy who says it. Let's see if we can find another one here. What else we got here? 1 second. So besides Hunter being the hunted, well, the one thing I have after this is not just, the hunter being the hunted, but the fear and hunger. This is like the first time I've seen the good boy Max Darrett actually try a different type of, his delivery routine, right, is different in this film, or this particular review, if you will. And if you want to know the Gnosticism that's going on here, because there's a lot of Gnosticism going in this fucking film. I mean, they literally have tranny Jesus Christ in this fucking freaking RPG.
But to set this up, I want everyone to know what my first experience of knowing what this game is which was a video done by Super Eye Patch Wolf. It's like, oh, this is an interesting
Here's
game.
how an early run of Fear and Hunger may go for you. You begin in the game's opening courtyard, and with the sound of barking ringing ominously in the distance, you enter the Dungeon of Fear and Hunger. After a few moments of eerie, silent exploration, you encounter and are pursued by a massive ogre who traps you in battle before immediately cutting off your left arm. You are asked to predict a coin toss, which you fail, resulting in your character being beaten into unconsciousness. But this is not game over. No. You awaken to the smell of rotten flesh, now missing every limb except your right arm, which you use to drag your destroyed body along with, emerging in a corridor of decaying corpses. You scramble in the darkness for something, anything, and unfortunately for you, you find it. You have a bad feeling about this.
Oh.
You encounter a grotesque floating head. He laughs at you, he mocks you, he begins chanting, and suddenly, he is no longer what concerns you, because out of the darkness behind him, something is approaching. Some gigantic being is drawing closer and closer every turn.
God damn, it's the wild thing.
It does nothing. You beg.
It's where the wild thing is.
Finally, the creature looms over you.
Oh my god, it is from where the wild things are.
Pressure. The first time this happened to me, I thought, wow, this broken game.
That was my introduction to it.
Wow.
And so Max is going to take an examination of the big occult imagery in it.
Which, by the way, at this point, I hate to be the guy who says this, it's not new. This isn't new. People who've been studying this shit for years and looking at you sticks, they already know about this shit. It's not new. Stop trying to market it as new. It's not. In fact, you could very well make the argument that the occult has been influencing the fucking modern cult pop culture since the 80s.
James Lindsay.
Yeah, James Lindsay. James Lindsay fucking knows about this.
I forget who it said, but new news is just old news happening to new people. And so once again, we have to have the new news again.
There is an old alchemical dictum that I'm fond of quoting. Insterquilinis invenitur. Translated from Latin, it means, in filth it will be found. The moral being imparted here is that the thing you need most will be found in the place you least want to look. In my life, the truth of that moral has proven itself on innumerable occasions. I will use my YouTube channel as one of many examples of this. I tend to use video game narratives as a conduit to discuss complex concepts.
What was it called?
Again, the games that
in trash, you will fall.
In filth.
You will find it. In filth. So this is what I think when I hear that, Luke. Here you go.
Frank, what the hell are you doing, man?
That's my character. I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then...
Oh, so he's Oscar the Grouch?
He's the trash man. He eats garbage. In the garbage you will find enlightenment.
And then I pick up the trash can, and I smash the guy on the head.
Oh, that's gonna be a disaster.
No, nobody's gonna get hurt. I'm telling you, it's like you said, it's all fake. But it has...
It is all fake, isn't it?
But that blow to the head might hurt, though.
It might.
I find have the most enlightening material tend to be ones that I actively tried to avoid. I avoided games like Planescape Torment for a long time, because I don't like top-down views or point-and-click combat and movement, even though it is the most philosophically dense game I've ever played. I avoided Dark Souls for years, because I don't typically enjoy games with punishing difficulty. In doing so, I missed out on a deeply spiritual experience that helped me and many others contend with poor
Dark
mental
Souls
health.
was a spiritual experience.
A video game is a spiritual experience. Let's see, have I ever had a spiritual experience with a video game? I can't think of any.
I'm really trying to actually think of an example. I've had spiritual experiences on RPGs almost. Mm-hmm. I've had experiences that I would say are borderline, like, as above, so below. Like, we had a lice infestation in the game, and then I had a fucking flea infestation at my place. But that could just be a coincidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of, like, I'm not going to say it's like Jumanji or some shit, right?
Uh-huh.
Keep playing it.
Ever made, but also one of the most rewarding. While I am genuinely sympathetic to this Chandler Bing-esque argument,
That is the beauty of this game. It makes you want to kill yourself.
I almost never like putting myself through digital torture to get to that unique sense of satisfaction. So, despite Isaac suggesting I maybe do a video on Fear and Hunger, I expected to forget about it within a few days.
Oh, the blurring right there, it's an underground orgy. Or cannibalism. Bloody cannibalism. Which may or may not be an orgy. Which may or may not be an orgy, I can't tell.
How does that work? Like, they fuck each other and then they bite each other's neck? Like,
well, there is an area where everyone is wearing a bunny mask where they're obviously being like rabbits. So this is something deep underground where I guess they're feeding on people's flesh. Where everyone's wearing a wolf mask.
so what, like fucking the Overlook Hotel?
Yeah.
Like in fucking The Shining?
Yeah.
Fear and Hunger. I expected to forget about it within a few days. But over the next few months, Fear and Hunger exploded in popularity online. And as a consequence, more and more people started flooding my comment section explaining why I had to do a video on this game. Apparently, Fear and Hunger referenced...
There's something I really hate, because I've never played the game, but something I really hate about, I would never like playing this game, is that when you die permanently and you start over again.
Oh my god. Like,
which means you have to play it, and worst of all, you can have your arms cut off and your limbs cut off, and you have to hold that till the end. Of course, you could bring them back, but then again, that requires a certain element of the game.
That's like, this is the type of game where you'd have to save smudge. You'd have to save smudge everything.
And I think I think the save points are on coin flips, and you only have so many to do.
Well, in that case, what you'd have to do is you have to back up the registry file off of the physical game, and then go back and do it that way. Just constantly do that shit. Just constantly back up the fucking. Yeah, it's a roguelike, exactly. So that means I'm gonna have to play this game at some point.
I'm not doing that. I won't. It's too depressing. From little lore and little bit I have watched from the endless temporary obsession I have for knowing the lore of this game, I'm not playing this. I'm not playing this.
This game reminds me of Dark Souls mixed with transgenderism and fucking Event Horizon, apparently.
Yeah, there's no transgenderism in it, though. That's
there isn't?
Before, too. No.
Are you sure?
Well, not in the way you're thinking. Not in the way you're thinking.
Are you sure?
Not in the way you're thinking.
All right.
Several other properties that I frequently analyzed on this channel. These include video games like Silent Hill, with its myriad of references to item names, characters, and the way that environment degrades. It includes references to games like Dark Souls, with its themes and difficulty, as well as the Berserk series, with characters like Griffith, Casca, and the God Hand paralleling Fear and Hunger's Lagarde, Darce, and the Fellowship.
And that's a big giveaway there too. Like
So
they're pretty much their characters one for one on this.
Oh, nothing is new under the sun. SJWs can't make it.
And if I recall, the God Hand are basically based on the Cenobites from Hellraiser.
Yeah. The box
but the mere references weren't the motivating force behind people's recommendations. Rather, Fear and Hunger appeared to take some of the deepest themes and concepts from those series and combine them into one, formulating its own captivating lore. Begrudgingly, I decided to embrace that old alchemical dictum and
of course, it's multiple endings, which means there's no way to know the real lore until the second game comes out.
That and also the fact that this is literally just a fan fiction. This is a fan fiction. They literally combined Berserk, Dark Souls, and a bunch of other shit, and now it's a fanfic.
The inspirations are there, but it is unique. But you can't help but notice the parallels. I mean, like you said, there's nothing new under the sun. So really, all we're doing it's almost like a humans either AI what's funny is that humans have this habit of either being like just being more advanced versions of the AI where they take old stuff and repackage it into something new.
I don't know. I don't fracking
play Fear and Hunger, and the experience was in fact brutal. Probably the most difficult game I've ever played, aside from.
And worst of all, if you whatever character you're playing, it doesn't matter if you have 4 other characters. If your character is killed, game over. Doesn't matter if your other characters don't survive you.
That means you have to sacrifice them. That's the most logical thing to do.
Well, assuming that the monster attacks them and not you first.
Oh, so
and worst of all, there's this monster.
Favoritism.
Yeah, there's this monster that can this giant bird creature that can literally peck your eyes out and blind you, and you can't see, and you're doomed pretty much.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, a lot of oh man, that's totally not fair. It's almost like playing it as like a bizarre coin flip unless you take a lot of precautions and you have to play it endlessly, repeatedly, over and over again to get the right combination.
Jeez.
Pathologic 2. That said, I now understand why people were recommending this game with such fervency. Not only does Fear and Hunger fuse the lore and themes of those other games into something brilliant and original, while also paying respectful homage, the lore and themes are made more meaningful by harmonizing with Fear and Hunger's punishing gameplay. But the best thing of all, in my opinion, are the game's philosophical solutions to the problem of suffering. Unfortunately, many of those solutions are communicated through incredibly subtle symbolism, grounded in religious concepts and iconography. Today, I will be outlining those secrets to show how deep Fear and Hunger really goes. Needless to say, there are spoilers ahead for all of Fear and Hunger 1, as well as very minor spoilers for Fear and Hunger 2 Termina. To clearly explain Fear and Hunger's hidden story elements, I must review the game's various references, not just to the aforementioned franchises, but also to various religions. After doing so, I will explain what those references have in common and the potential story secrets they reveal.
Yeah, the mutations of those religions.
But first, this is all fresh off the fucking press right now.
Oh.
Literally, yeah.
What's this? What's this? What's this?
This is Tucker Carlson taking a side. Notice his fucking tie.
Rolled across the border of eastern Ukraine. And then for the next year and a half, the American media and political establishment...
Oh, what was his name online?
Spickups the line. Spickups.
What was his name?
Gonzalo Lira, Coach Red Pill.
Oh, it's Coach Red Pill, that's it.
The fucking... The Chilean CIA nigger.
Talking about Ukraine and America's obligation to support Ukraine, pay for Ukraine's military and its government, and of course support it morally, and above all to hate Russia. And most Americans obeyed. Politicians...
Oh, I look forward to when Alex Jones is coming back on.
Oh, he's coming. He's back on. He's back on the internet.
Oh,
he's
fun,
back
fun,
on Twitter.
fun.
He's back on Twitter.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's predicting either no matter who wins, it's going to be assassination from one on top of the other to the president, and therefore divide the country, or whatever his theory was.
Here, yep.
American citizens put Ukrainian flags on...
Let's see, where's our interview?
They had like something like 2,000 tanks before the start of this conflict. You think a couple of hundred now is going to help? I mean, why are they asking?
Oh, so is he home now?
I guess he managed to make it out. The attention fucking whore.
Because
we need to kill this guy.
Gone. That's basic, you know. And so what?
I mean, it is sad that this guy said, "Oh, Russia will never invade Ukraine." Like, yeah, he kind of did.
Well, this guy has money invested in the Eurasian Economic Union. People have to remember that. This guy, Gonzalo, literally has talked about investing in the Eurasian Economic Union. I wish that there was an RT video out there. I wish I could have saved it at one point. But he was talking about, how the Eurasian Economic Union was a great investment and that you should probably get into it now since the dollar's going to die, which is another reason why I keep saying the people who are talking shit to the dollar are the same people who want the dollar to fail.
Yeah,
they really do.
That's not going to pan out because no one trusts China.
No one trusts China, and no one trusts Russia either, especially the people who know better and realize that Russia literally is they're ethnocentric.
Mm-hmm.
When the Soviet Union was still around, they would send Russian people in to Finlandize and basically stack the vote in favor of what Moscow wanted. Whether it be in Ukraine, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Georgia, it doesn't matter. They stacked the deck in their favor. These people are criminals. And we have to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep playing it.
100, maybe 300 tanks. Is that going to change the outcome of the conflict? Oh, well, the Russians are just going to destroy them. In the West, all the propaganda has said that Zelensky is a hero, a Winston Churchill figure, and the Kiev regime are just angels and stuff like that. No, they're bloodthirsty murderers. The Kiev regime. I'm telling you right now.
So he made a couple of points. One, Russia is not losing the war with Ukraine. Russia is winning. Two, the Russian economy, despite the sanctions from the United States and Western Europe, and despite the war, has not been destroyed. The Russian economy is actually fine, and in some ways it's improving. It's becoming more independent, more commodities-based, and that's an advantage for a country with a lot of commodities like Russia. Meanwhile, the U.S. economy and U.S. military power has suffered as a result of the war. Now, Lira, to the extent that people responded to him in this country and our media, was denounced as a Russian puppet and a liar and a propagandist. But in fact, now we can admit he was right. What you just heard was true, factually true. Russia is not losing the war in Ukraine. Russia is winning. Russia's economy is fine. Ours is not. So what happened?
No, they're not. No, they're not. Like, what are their economy? Yeah, again, you could get a loaf of bread, but you can't choose what bread you want. You can get, heating, sure, but you can't do anything because everything's locked down and censored. This is legitimately Russian propaganda. And the thing here is that fucking tie right there, Luke. We already know what that is. People often joke about how when Obama would wear a red tie versus a blue tie, he was going to work with the conservatives and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
St. George's ribbon. Here we go. St. George's ribbon. Does it look familiar, Luke?
It does, although the colors are inverted.
Video and others like it, he was arrested by the government of Ukraine, one that we pay for, the supposed democracy that we support for moral reasons against the autocracy of Russia. He was arrested, and then he was let out, and then he tried to leave the country. He tried to leave Ukraine. Here's a video, his last video. This is Gonzalo Lira.
I will definitely be sent to a prison labor camp where I will most certainly die. And so...
So he's not out.
He got out, and then he left, and then he decided to report on it again, because instead of just taking the fucking hint, and now he's like, again, the red pill content, this bullshit needs to stop. Because again, you let this guy in, and I'm sorry, but how are you getting pussy when you have a hairline like that? I'm sorry, but no, you look like a fucking Oompa Loompa. But at least they were feeding you well, Gonzalo. Play it.
I decided that the smart thing was take my chances in terms of getting across the border. Right now, I'm maybe 5 kilometers away from the border with Hungary. For the last 2 days, I rode my bike just about 1,300 kilometers from Kharkov all the way here to the border.
I don't think you should run running. No.
Cross the border, get to Hungary, and in Hungary, I'm going to ask for political asylum. So either I will cross the border into Hungary in the next couple of hours, or I will be arrested again, and God knows what will happen to me.
He never made it. 5 miles.
How did that guy? How does anyone take him seriously when it comes to getting chicks? How did anyone take Gonzalo Lira seriously? The guy looks like a fucking pederast.
Yeah, but he didn't look like that in his videos.
Yeah, but if he cleans himself up looking nice, then he went from Kevin Spacey looking motherfucker to a fucking like pederast tranny. Like what the fuck?
Country whose government we are still paying for. The Biden State Department is uninterested in the fate of this American citizen. In fact, of course, they...
Let's see.
Or at least tacit approval of Gonzalo's arrest, since nothing else convincingly explains the conspicuous lack of response. Let me just read further, if I may, Tucker.
I hope you will.
Gonzalo was arrested last year on April the 15th, Good Friday, till the next...
What? Comb your hair down at least, dude. What happened to his hair?
The glamour, the adrenochrome wore off, dude.
Huh.
The adrenochrome wore off. And...
Friday 22nd, for that full week, without any charges. He was simply detained. They stole all of his equipment. He couldn't continue working after he was released for at least 2-3 weeks, trying to obtain equipment to continue. His criticism of Zelensky's Nazi regime, supported by the U.S. government.
Nazi regime, because it has to be Nazi regime, right? It can't just be Zelensky regime. It has to be the not. This is how you know that they're talking about this shit. This is how you know it's propaganda. This is how you know this shit. Is because it can't just be the regime. It has to be a Nazi regime, because we have to go after the fucking Nazis, don't we? Keep going, Luke.
Who makes, he is making gargles, that we have to defend democracy. What democracy? Ukraine has never had democracy, let alone today with this man Zelensky. He's a well-known dictator. They were going to have elections, Tucker, and they canceled those elections. During the Vietnam
because
War,
you guys meddled with them. Because you had the Russians meddling, and then the West said, okay, you're going to meddle, we're going to meddle. That's what happened.
Elections in South Vietnam, in the middle of the war, Tucker, if you remember. I do remember. I lived those years in the USA. Let me say more. Last April 27th of this year, Gonzalo put on a web video, this time, and for the first time, Tucker, heavily criticizing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. 4 days later, the Zelensky police detains Gonzalo through that terrible, sinister Gestapo called SPU.
My thinking is that the Democratic Party establishment will try to get rid of Joe Biden and shoehorn in Kamala Harris. Because Kamala Harris, make no mistake about it, she's an idiot. I mean, she is... I seriously believe that she has under 90 IQ points. I mean, she is so stupid.
Why don't you clean yourself, you fucking... seriously, clean yourself, you raggedy-looking fucking ghetto rat. Like, legitimately. The guy, Luke, put it back to what he was, and then I'll show you what he looked like prior. Coach. Pill. This is the type of person what he looked like prior to this whole scenario. Here you go. This little toad right here. This guy right here. This is what he looked like, and this is what he looks like now. Ask yourself who's really winning this scenario. Because I'll tell you this, if he's gonna say Russia's winning, I'm like, well, why aren't you going over to Russia? Why don't you just go over to Russia then, Gonzalo? Go join the fucking military in Russia. Go over there. You know, it's not like you were wrong about them invading before. He lies. The man is a liar. You know, he's a fucking liar. Keep playing.
Isn't it odd, Tucker, that 4 days later, after condemning Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Gonzalo's arrested, why was he not detained earlier? When he was let go the previous year, May 22nd of last year, Gonzalo continued the same language, the same criticism against the war. He predicted from day one, practically, that Ukraine would never win a war against Russia. He also said, this is going to bleed the USA and the NATO countries, holding on for Ukraine to hold a battle with Russia, which will never be won, will never be, successful. Did the State Department, Tucker, give the green light to Zelensky to put my son in jail? This is something that it is unbelievable.
It's his son?
The U.S. government.
Apparently that's his dad.
Look at that nose on him. Makes you want to go up to him and just squeeze it. Honk, honk. Fucking clown nose. And
is approving.
Like this is legit. Like you know how I see this, Luke? This is kind of like the yuppies who go over and fight in, let's say, Ukraine, and then they realize, you know, they bitch about, oh, you know, we're being shot at. It's how horrible war is and glamorous. I'm like, well, I'll believe it once you shave off your pink fuchsia hair. I'll believe it when you realize, because I'll tell you this: if you ever have somebody with fuchsia hair, or even like SJW anime hair, right? And you're in a place like Ukraine, you're gonna have to shave that shit off, because that shit will give away. You could see that shit. That shit will stand out. But I find it very interesting, because I don't think it is his father. I cannot believe this guy is legitimately. I just don't trust it, because I have a feeling that this guy is dead. I think Gonzalo is dead. I hope he is dead even. Wolfwind Prepper says they literally have Nazi divisions. They have. That's like the equivalent of saying the United States has Nazi militias. They do have Nazi militias. They're few and far between, but we're supposed to just believe that it's all the same group. No, what it is just it's a battle cry. What about the Nazis in the Russian army? We gonna talk about them? No, we're not gonna talk about them. Keep going, Luke.
And maybe even encouraging what happened to your son, a man being thrown into prison to die because he criticized the regime. If they're okay with that in Ukraine, why wouldn't they be okay with that in the United States?
I really don't understand. It just puzzles me. It just puzzles me also with the prompt defense of the reporter, you know, the Wall Street Journal reporter that was detained in Russia. Well, he was really exchanging military secrets. And my goodness, the way they were defending this man, I don't even know if he's a U.S. citizen, but anyway, his name, I wrote it somewhere. Totally different to Gonzalo. No one from the U.S. Embassy is defending my son. He lived in the U.S. all of his life. He's a Dartmouth graduate. I mean, he lived in the USA. He has, you know, published Counterparts, one of his, books. He's been writing also. He's a writer. And the U.S. hasn't done anything. I cannot understand. If we're going to protect democracy in the world, let's start by taking out that puppet called Zelensky and let Congress in the USA, for crying out loud, once and for all, impeach this man. He cannot continue. The U.S. is sliding down every day, Tucker. The Chinese are winning us. I mean,
no, they're not.
What kind of foreign policy are we getting into? The worst of it all is that either they don't know history, because there are a bunch of ignorance in the White House, or they don't know. I mean, Gorbachev with Bush Sr., with President George Bush Sr., Gorbachev proposed him. We are going to dissolve the Soviet Union as such, and with it, we'll dissolve the Warsaw Pact, which was our response to NATO. But give me assurance that the countries that today belong to the Soviet Union and will be independent countries will not go into NATO. Putin, the only thing was asking Tucker was not to have Ukraine enter the NATO alliance. He didn't want to be surrounded by NATO countries, just like John Kennedy didn't want the USA to have missiles for crying out loud in Cuba. Putin was doing the same. The big question is, What if Ukraine had complied of not going into NATO force, alliance? Nothing would have happened. There wouldn't have been a Russian invasion. Like you said before, the U.S. is bleeding money, but it is costing a fortune. It's costing the military. It's costing more day by day. The whole population is getting involved now in the USA. There are constant protests now that we have the other problem with Israel. Where are we going to? When are we going to be the great nation we were? Or is it too late, Tucker?
Well, I thought we already are a great nation. I thought we already were a great nation. I thought we already were a great country. And even then, this isn't costing us anything. Wolfram says Azov is officially endorsed by the government and supplied by them, ergo they endorse such things. Yeah, but that's like the equivalent of saying we don't have enough military fighting age men, so we have to hire people to fucking fight for us. I honestly, you and I both know that I'm against the Nazis in the Ukraine, but I'm also against the Nazis in Russia, but at the same time, the enemy of my enemy is my friend in this regard. The fucking Eurasianists want to take over. We already have Gonzalo basically taking shekels to fucking stab people in the back. He's taking the Eurasian ruble, dude. That's what they're doing. And the fact that they have to get his daddy, which, again, a guy who's from the red pilled manosphere, getting his daddy to show up on Tucker Carlson. Does this not seem like my dad will never show up to fucking save my ass if I get caught in, let's say, Cambodia or someplace, right? If I take a holiday in Cambodia, my dad's not going to come and save my ass. He ain't going to be on Anderson Pooper Scooper either. Or even fucking Tucker or Hannity or anybody. So you have to ask yourself, no, Ukraine is no better than Russia. I'm tired of burning money and men for nothing. Yeah, but we're not burning men, are we? We're not burning money. We're giving like the guns and ammunition is what we're giving. We're not actually giving actual physical money. I mean, I'm willing to fight it. I'm willing to go over there. If you're willing to let me go over there with my kit, I'm willing to do it. I ain't scared of shit. Anyhow, let's get back to, let's see, how long have we been going? Going for since 8:15. It's been about an hour or so. What do you want to do, Luke? You want to continue with this, or do you want to move on to something else? Because I found this was very interesting.
Which one? What's interesting?
This particular talk about Gonzalo Lira, or do you want to talk about fucking the tranny fucking god thing, the RPG, whatever?
Going back to that.
Fear and Hunger. You can go back to that if you want.
Let's see, where are we?
The Fear and Hunger timeline begins at the universe's literal inception, with a collection of gods known as the Old Gods. The most relevant and prevalent of these gods are Sylvian, Grogoroth, and Venushka, whose real-life analog is the Hindu Trimurti. Given that Hinduism is one of, if not the oldest religion in the world, it is very appropriate to make the oldest gods of Fear and Hunger parallel that religion. There are other gods included in the Old God pantheon, like Rare and the God of the Depths, but they don't share as pertinent a role in the first game. There is one more old god that is relevant to this discussion, though, one named Almer. His real-life analog is Jesus Christ, and by God does this game go out of its way to
why
make
are they
that clear.
censoring
Seriously,
his fucking
the allusions
junk?
to Christ.
Because
why are they censoring his junk?
Because he wanted to not be on the screen.
No, but like, did they show dick? Did they show a lot of dick in this? I mean, they already are.
I mean, every other monster has a very enlarged penis, and in fact, for a lot of them, it's a third leg.
Jeez, everyone's fucking hung. God damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting selections of why their anatomy is the way it is, and you have the option to tweak it so that the anatomy is replaced with these little objects to imply, but they don't. That's optional in the menu.
Jeez.
So on the nose, it makes the Christ symbolism in Man of Steel look cryptic by comparison. Almer was born to a virgin mother.
Oh yeah, right there. It's covered. It's like an acorn thingy covering them up.
Oh God, an acorn, really?
Mother had 12 apostles,
or a pine cone, I guess, is what it is.
By crucifixion, and came back from the dead. Though, granted, there are a few key differences between Almer and Christ. Most importantly, when Almer came back from the dead, he didn't come back for a few days and then ascend to heaven like Jesus did. Rather, he goes full Passion of the Christ to crucify this on everybody who had a part in killing him, which just so happens to be all the kings and sultans of the known world at the time. The purpose of doing this was not revenge, but rather to instantiate a new world order, where the old gods would be left behind, and Almer would become the sole god that everybody worships.
Basically, all the
Now,
monsters
granted,
have junk on the screen. There is a mod that removes them and makes the game easier. They attack with junk. Oh boy.
Yeah, some of the monster, like I know one of the monsters that if you lose a coin toss to them, they sexually assault you.
They sexually assault you?
Yeah, and then you have like bleeding coming. You have a continuous bleeding.
So they fuck you so hard that you can't run anymore.
Basically. Yeah.
So the whole thing that starts this something going back is in the filth you will find it. No. This is like some fucking sallow shit. This is like some fucking, 120 days of Sodom crap.
Yeah, it's the worst parts. Like all the most evil, depraved sections of Berserk all compiled into a underground dungeon crawler.
Jeez. That not even Berserk. I wasn't even gonna say Berserk. I was thinking like actual real world analogs like Marquis de Sade type of crap, where you literally like you get sexually assaulted and you get fucked in the ass and then you can't walk, and that'd actually be a mechanic. I'm not even joking.
Almer does have another potential origin story, written by a character named Enki. The main difference is that instead of being born to a virgin mother, Almer was created by a master architect named Vitruvia, under orders from Sylvian to create the perfect human being. Which one is the true story is up for debate, but the important thing is that they both end with Almer's ascension to old god status. For the next 8 centuries, Almer would continue to be worshipped, but as time went on, people the world over felt the presence and influence of Almer slowly fade away, just as the presence and influence of the old gods faded prior to Almer. It seemed like Almer and the old...
I thought he destroyed them.
I
not
thought
fade
they
away,
as
but
well.
yeah.
Old gods forgot their promise of salvation, what with the kingdoms of the world rotting away and the people who occupied them falling prey to sinful behavior. Not willing to let things continue as they were, a group of 5 legendary individuals banded together to seek out Almer and the old gods, so they may help them become gods themselves, and instantiate what Scott Pilgrim would call a new world order. They eventually found the old gods by entering a fissure in the earth, one which served as a portal to multiple planes of existence. Eventually, they stumbled upon a plane that existed outside of space and time, within which was built a city known as Mahab. Upon arriving there, the 5 individuals were deemed worthy by the old gods, and were offered the ability to transcend their mortal flesh and become new gods, to which 4 of them consented. The 5th that refused was...
Ouch.
Ouch.
What, it's a... you want to the experience of the game, just have Luke use have Ninetales on you. It's about the same.
Oh, jeez. Ow. Ow.
Nostradamus,
Yeah.
but we'll get to the reasons for that refusal
I'll take it like
a little later.
Jesus.
Now, before I
I'll take it
detail
like
what
Jesus
happens
did.
during the main events of Fear and Hunger, I must highlight a pattern that some of you might have noticed. In this game's world, gods come and promise mankind salvation.
Yeah, they come
but then the
alright.
influence slowly fades away until humanity finds themselves in a state of ubiquitous misery. Then new gods come along and promise salvation again, but then their influence fades as well. Even with the 4 new gods who attempted to replace Almer and his predecessors, their influence also slowly decreased. And in the year 1590, the year Fear and Hunger takes place in, humanity is once...
1590, really?
Why 1590?
That's just... I'm not sure if it's a parallel to our world or actually like a one-for-one, like another world entirely.
Again, engulfed in widespread war and poverty. At this point, one might suspect at least 1 or 2 observant individuals would grow tired of this constant succession of gods and want to try something new, and that is exactly what happens. So, what is this new method? Well, it's the reason why people recommended Fear and Hunger to me in the first place. It is the common element shared between the aforementioned Silent Hill, Berserk, and Dark Souls. That new method is the exaltation of humanity over that of gods through the occult, specifically alchemy. By following the spiritual path outlined by alchemical
You can
doctrine,
also, too,
one
you
can-
too can become a god. You too can become a god. You too can have all the knowledge of the Lord. Just eat this fucking fruit, dude. Just eat this fruit, bro. And you'll learn, and you too will become like God. Your eyes will be open. You'll experience, Gnosticism, or like Gnostic, Gnosis, right?
You will know good and evil.
You will know good and
you will know good and evil.
You will know it. Yes, you will know good and evil.
elevate the human condition to something that exceeds gods in both power and morality. Over several years and many videos, I
Immorality.
and others have outlined the numerous references those other franchises make to alchemical doctrine. While I can't go into all the evidence for my assertion in this video, I will link to several videos in the description box that prove my point beyond a shadow of a doubt. That said, I will reference a few concepts that are relevant to fear and hunger. As I'm sure a lot of you know, there are two primary goals in alchemy. The first is the Philosopher's Stone, an external, physical reward which contains within it the elixir of eternal life. The second is the metaphorical gold, an internal spiritual reward. Upon obtaining one, you will simultaneously obtain the other, and vice versa. Let's start with the Philosopher's Stone and how it's relevant to Fear and Hunger and the other franchises.
Yeah, because the common misconception about alchemy is that you're turning lead into gold. No, you're extracting the gold out of the lead. You're finding the gold divine in the filth.
You are getting to turn up. You're getting blood from a turnip. That's what you're. That's literally what you're doing.
Blood from a rock.
Yeah, blood from a rock.
Oh no, worse, blood from dung.
Ugh.
The alchemists liked to personify their concepts in human form, including the Philosopher's Stone. The most relevant personification is that of the union of the divine masculine, which they called Sol, and the divine feminine, which they called Luna. The Philosopher's Stone would be personified when these two deities united into one being, which they called the Rebus.
I think that's actually an image in Scott Pilgrim. Like the original Scott
picture?
Pilgrim.
What, that?
Yeah, at the very end, Scott Pilgrim and the girl, they go through the doorway, but they kind of fuse into one side by side. But of course, it's those be boyfriend and girlfriend, but that's just the symbology it looks like.
The union of masculine and feminine into a single androgynous and or hermaphroditic being, be it in alchemy or various other religions, is often seen as a...
I can see where...
Wait a sec.
Hermaphrodite. I can see that... Yeah, this isn't transsexuality, it's hermaphrodite.
What the fuck? Gnosticism equals monad/apraxis. So apparently that Satanist fucker Boyd Rice was worshipping the sacred tranny? What? Okay.
Symbol of the highest possible state of divinity. In respect to Silent Hill, this union is seen in the god of Silent Hill, Incubus, who is modeled after the occult god, Baphomet. Baphomet was drawn by the 19th century occultist...
the Gnostic prophet, Muhammad. We're not going to talk about that, are we?
Lady, as a way to illustrate the infinite, which is characterized by the union of opposite elements, including male and female parts. With Dark Souls, this union of genders is most obvious in the character of Gwendolyn, who was born a man but raised as a girl. This concept is also found in the game Elden Ring, made by the same company who created Dark Souls, with the characters of Radagon and Marika, who are one and the same. With Berserk, the character of Griffith, during the majority of the manga's Golden Age arc, was seen as an ideal human being. An ideal that is...
The guy who looks like a guy with a girl's face.
We have to beware of the Bishi. The Bishi is the one that will try to stab you in the back for god power.
Symbolized by
Bishonins are the enemy.
Union of positive masculine and feminine traits. And then the eclipse happened, but let's not traumatize ourselves any more than we already have playing this game, am I right? In respect to Fear and Hunger, we see a few examples where androgyny and hermaphroditism, I can't say that word, the word on the screen, are linked.
Hermaphrodism. Or, let's see, hermaphrodism. Ditsum?
Hermaphroditism?
Hermaphrodism.
Tranny shit.
The word on the screen.
I think it's hermaphrodite. Well, they actually have both the parts. They don't have to cut them off.
Are linked to the occult and the divine. The most obvious example is with the quote-unquote marriage. Via the magic of Sylvian, one can merge two human beings into a single entity called a marriage.
Which looks very similar to sex.
Which in turn gives you the strongest base stats of any character in the game. I think it's
But when it goes wrong, you look like a failed combination of the two.
Simple to believe that the marriage was inspired by the same alchemical logic behind the creation of the Rebus, as a way to elevate the human condition. Maybe not in terms of looks, though, granted. The next example is one that was pointed out to me by my friend Arcane, the character of Marina from Fear and Hunger 2. Marina is given the unique title
There's a number 2?
Yeah.
So there's a sequel now?
Yeah, it's been for a while. It's taking years after the event. It's like more in the modern era. And rather going into a deep dungeon, a train derails, and these whole, like a dozen people, like you have a whole, like almost a dozen people, like 6 or 7 people to choose from, and depending on how you play, you're in this weird city where people are getting like killed like right and left, and you're trying to survive. And depending on who you're fighting and what you're playing as, you get to have a whatever ending you pick, because in multiple endings, it's almost impossible to find the right one or guess what the lore is.
Jesus.
She studies both it and its subcategory of alchemy. She is also canonically a trans character. Like Gwendolyn from Dark Souls, she was born a boy, but raised as a girl, primarily because her mother wanted to
doesn't
protect
make
her
them
from a priesthood
trans.
she despised, which only accepted...
That's like saying that...
Basically makes them Bridget from Guilty Gear.
Yeah, Bridget or fucking like even Samus. You can like Samus is pushing it even.
Well, she's like the word for her is butch. Because she's, well, it's not even confirmed she's even a lesbian.
Yeah, Samus is just the butch. She's literally Ridley.
Or tomboy. Tomboy, if you want to say that.
She's literally fucking Ripley from Aliens.
Yeah, oh yeah. Except with an awesome suit.
Yeah.
Firstborn sons. The third and most relevant example is with the aforementioned Nosramis, the fifth forgotten one who refused to become a new god. He is also a practitioner of the occult with a focus on alchemy, and has observable androgynous traits, as the game's text points out. The reason why Nosramis and his androgyny are the most relevant has to do with the fallout between him and his 4 other companions. It seems to me that, initially, all 5 of them were pursuing godhood via an alchemical process. They had to embody the alchemical gold, as we see in the case of Francois with his golden body, or Valtiel with his golden face. Once this was done, all 5 of them had a choice. They could ascend, become a god, and be granted access to all the secrets of life, or refuse. The catch here is that they would have to become one with the void, leaving behind their original bodies. Just as gods are deemed omnipresent and govern all aspects of life, the same can be said of the void of space, which binds and penetrates everything. By the way,
it's the Force, Luke. It's literally the Force.
Yeah, chakra, whatever the heck they call it now.
Fucking the Logos.
Clever
the fucking Logos.
Hunger is for making somebody who achieved the alchemical gold embody the void. In the 7-step alchemical process, the gold represents the end point. Once you achieve gold, you become a perfect being. There's nowhere to go after that. The only other place to go is back to the beginning of life and or the alchemical process, both of which are marked by the void. To create the external stone and internal gold, one must transmute a piece of the void into perfection. Once that is done, you can only become the thing that produces and rules over all life, the void. Absolute genius. Anyways, 4 members of this fellowship willingly accepted this deal, yet Nosramis refused it. But why? I believe that at the last moment, Nosramis realized that the only way to truly save humanity was for them to learn how to help themselves.
Which is exactly what I've been saying to people over and over again.
That's Benjamin Franklin. Like, I believe God helps those who help themselves.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, God does.
Not to eschew suffering in the hopes that a god would save you, but to walk the path of enlightenment as laid out in alchemical doctrine. Nosramis did this by learning to embody the positive traits that were symbolically masculine and feminine. In doing so, he helped himself. He transformed his body, mind, and soul, and uncovered the secrets of immortality that enabled his survival for the past 7 centuries. In the very end, Nosramis' choice was exalted. Any of the 4 playable characters are able to enter the dungeons
curriculum
of Fear and
is
Hunger,
all over the hallowed halls of academia. That's literally what this is. The reason he's enlightened is because he has a degree and he also has tenure. And you all, I'm serious. You know, again, if their argument is for you to go and learn how to basically be like them, you know, to become like them essentially, or you know, to perfect yourself by doing this particular thing, there's something wrong there. There's really something wrong.
I mean, it is to point out the obvious, it is kind of something where all this magic stuff only makes sense in the context of fiction, because it doesn't work anywhere else.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm being told if I transmute into a fucking wolf or a coyote or something, I'll become a system admin. And in some cases, if I identify under the certain, you know, alchemical path to like become a tranny or something, I might actually become a CFO in some cases, right? So there literally is benefits of being a tranny, you know, putting on a wig and saying, "Oh, I come out. I've always been it all along." You know?
Right.
I don't know, but you know, guess who's back, Luke?
Who's back? Back again.
Here you go, Lake. Right there.
Who is back? Tell a friend.
Jonesy's back. Play it, Luke.
Murder! You die! Murder! Government documents! And I walk out and Blair Butley goes, Albert!
It'll be a glorious day when Trump comes back, though.
Honestly, I don't expect anybody to come and save me. I'm saving myself. I'm legitimately at the point where I don't believe no one's coming to save me. I don't believe Alex Jones is being online. I mean, we already know Jones sold out to the fucking Eurasianists. We already know it. We already have evidence of him fucking, hanging out with the goddamn literal occultists. And he's saying the globalists. I'm like, well, what about the cultists right there? What about him? Are we allowed to talk about him and his little hate fic against the United States? No. But all his stuff is back.
Oh, Steven Crowder here. I'm proud to call Alex Jones a friend and honored to have him as a member of the Mug Club.
Yep. Nothing. And Steven, I'd love to have you as a superintendent of the United States educational system, but that'll never happen because it's far more lucrative for you to be a fucking activist than to be an actual politician, which is hard work. I know. Yeah.
The government lies. You're going to die. No, the thousands of astronauts that died. What's happening? Japan blowing up the sea. You will line up and they will rope you and your family. Pain, judgment, or GMO, destruction, disease, fire spreading, ants, rotten bodies. Alex, 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 Alex.
This guy's like honestly.
The meme machine is back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not even that he's a meme machine. It's he. Again, I'm gonna shit test Alex Jones a lot on this channel. I'm gonna fucking shit test him a lot, and we all should fucking do it. And you say, "Well, you're just a no." I'm legitimately gonna trust but verify. That's what you do. So here we go. Okay, this is interesting. This is something that was brought up. This was in my fucking feed. This tweeted by James Lindsay, which I think James Lindsay he's just. We need to save his ass and keep him away from fucking Alex Jones and what the hell is his name? Fucking Bannon. Keep them away from each other.
Huh?
The manipulating pendulum swing is akin to pricks of rhythm and hermeticism. Left aims the pendulum for strategy, swinging it, avoiding it, back and forth, hitting foes. Christian nationalism, communists don't want a swing to Americanism. The Constitution is the greatest banner to globalists, a barrier to global communism. Yep. That is exactly what's going on. Anyhow, I think we're going to end it here.
Rob
Luke,
Ryan is absolutely right. We're seeing the rise of Christian nationalism in this country. What do you have against socialism, dude? I thought you were, aren't you guys on the left?
It's bullshit. It really is. They're reassembling the 2016 meme team. Milo's going to college again. Yeah. Fuck these people. Like, I will literally go to these places and I will fuck with these people because these people deserve to be fucked with. They're not running for office. They are literally just taking in the money, just eating up super chats because it's the most lucrative way to do it. They tasted the fucking activist money. You know, they've gone to that point. I don't know. Luke, any final thoughts?
She told me later. The second she lifted up her foot and saw Emilio not flapping, she knew what she had done. That's not the perfect visual image of life and death. A fish flapping on the carpet, and a fish not flapping on the carpet. So powerful. Even a 4-year-old with no concept of life or death knew what it meant.
Oh, that's the character that let's go back to that Hunter Avalon's character, huh?
Yeah, Kill Bill talking about how his little girl was able to figure out death without having a concept of it. But then again, she is being raised by a former assassin.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. Anyhow, I'll let you go. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another, take care of one another. Remember, saving the West is a side quest. This is the Digital Renegade Podcast.